Okay, this is it. This is the final push on writing a series.
The hardest bit to kind of put out there, isn't it?
It really is. And that's one of the reasons why, and everybody has their own style. Like, for example, there are plotters and there are pantsers, and then there's us. So what are you?
I'm a plantser
Hmm.
because I like to think that I can do a little outline,
Hmm.
but I don't always follow it.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about this extensively, and that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why we kind of pivoted on what to do for this last week of writing a series. Because the thing is, Christine and I both do a lot of plotting for other people. And when we plot our own books, like I, for example, I like the discovery of the writing the book. I like to know how it's going to begin. I like to know how it's kind of end. I mean, happily ever after, right? But if I know everything that's going to go on in the middle to get to that point, I've lost all interest in writing the book. I can't plot.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if like I get a lot of people coming into my group, and one of the questions is what do you find the hardest part of your writing
mhm.
process? And a lot of them talk about the saggy middle.
Yeah, the muddy middle. The
Yeah,
muddy middle, they have no idea what to do with it.
because I think when you start writing a story or when you start doing your plotting, you know what kind of story it is, you know how you want it to end, and you know how it starts, because
Mhm.
you've got to hit that road running on the first chapter, get in there and get everybody kind of up to speed on it. But it's keeping that momentum going all the way through that can be a big problem to a lot of people. I see it myself, and then you're like, shorter chapters, and you're like, how can I drive this forward?
Mhm.
And all of that, which is where your plotting does help.
Yes, it is. It is where it helps, but also this is where a lot of us can get away with the id lists. So, if we have ideas for things that we want to have happen in books, things that we like happening in books and series and stuff like that, then we can then incorporate those things into the book when we're like, what am I going to do here?
Yeah,
Because just like you said, every scene has to move the story forward. Every scene has to have a purpose.
yeah,
Yeah, some scenes are kind of cute and fun, but there has to be a bigger meaning behind it. Otherwise,
yeah,
the story is lagging, and that's
yeah.
when the middle.
But that's, and you also get your plot holes if you start throwing in random things to try and spice things up or keep things going, and you don't finish them later on as well. But the
Yep,
id list, my new favorite thing.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Because you never run short of ideas, and
yeah,
it's the kind of thing that when you're watching stuff, it can spark ideas.
yeah.
Or, I mean, how many times have you watched something and thought, "Oh my God, I could have written this so much
Yeah.
better." You know what I mean?
Now
And
when you sit there and you start tell I tell my husband, oh, this is what's happening next, and this is we
mhm,
watch a lot of medical dramas, and I'm going, I'm telling you, that's TMJ. I'm telling you. He's like, what? And I'm going, just
I know.
watch. And then I go, yes, I got it right. But the
Mhm.
same in the movies, and you're like, oh, I wouldn't have done that. I'd have done this. It would have been better. And I think that as an author, that is just part of your whole makeup. That's, in within you, and you can't change that.
Exactly. So we agreed that basically how you're going to plot the book, you know what needs to be in there. We've talked about that extensively. We went over all of the key components. You're going to take that and you're going to lay out your story, or you're not. Either way, you're
Mm.
going to have an idea of what's going to happen and you're going to get there. But the important thing is that no matter where you are on this journey, while you're writing the next book in your series, you need to make sure that you're marketing before you release. Okay. And so that's where the posts come in this time. We put together some of these are, kind of newer variations on things that we've done before. There's also a lot of things that are for bulk create, like that kind of thing that you can do very easily. And we've done whole like days on how to do
Yeah.
bulk create and how to make all this stuff work. So, okay. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to kind of get an overview, a sense of what's going on here and how to use some of these. And do you have any favorites of these? Do you have like any favorites for?
Um, I
Okay.
actually liked, which one is it? Where's it gone? Yeah, I like number 4. T6 there, and I was looking at it, I thought, oh, that looks a bit bland. And then when I was looking at it, I realized it was like somebody's phone screen and what they were looking at. And I thought that could be really interesting. You could really, that's a great way of putting a teaser even for a book,
Mhm.
I like that a lot. It
So
was something I thought I could use myself, do you know?
yes. So it says Q&A, but honestly, you could do things like interview with the character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like author and like, the
yeah,
author sitting down with the hero or whatever, where you share a question and you put the questions
yeah.
in there.
Exactly, but I also, like a lot of us have texting in the books these days, and they can be formatted in your books now, which they look fantastic. But you
Hmm.
can also put them in here as a teaser, like,
Hmm.
and like you could bear with me for a moment.
Hmm.
You could take that and change the size to a reel because it could go more. You could have a couple more,
Yes.
and then you could set it up as a reel with that
Mhm.
as they type in, because some of the words they type in, and you could make your own kind of SMS story, which I think is
So
fantastic,
popular.
for
Yeah.
a teen part.
Hmm. In a lot of ways, these kinds of things have taken the place of dialogue in books where you're able to do things like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does make a difference, doesn't it? The whole text. I think now that you can format it in like Vellum, for example,
Mhm.
it does make it that you will do more texting because it's one way of quickly getting over the dialogue or things that are happening around you, But no, I think I will use that to do reels and stuff. I think that'd be quite interesting.
Now, there's just in case, I no longer take for granted that everybody is familiar with Canva. I'm over that now. I no longer think this, so I'm just gonna over explain and you can just fast forward if you know this stuff. But there is a resize button over here. It's resize and magic switch. And right now these are all 1080 squares designed for Instagram. Because it's kind of a standard post. And this is the real version. Uh right? Yes, yes. Because I always
Mhm.
get it. You would think I'd be better at aspect ratio by now,
Yeah.
wouldn't you? Yeah, I know. Um,
I actually go down to social media and then pick the one I want from there.
oh, that's so
I don't
smart.
I don't trust the numbers like so that I would get them right, that I would pick the right one. So that's what I do. And you can see at the top you can go
Yep,
Instagram, TikTok,
exactly.
short
So you can
short
just
that's
scroll
what
through like
yeah.
this. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
do it that way. Sorry.
No, no, that's brilliant. It's a great tip for people.
The other one is just numbers to me. I don't understand.
And it's so funny because like I know the numbers, but
Yeah,
I still have that moment. I'll push
yeah,
the wrong one and I'll be like, wrong way, like a landscape
yeah,
instead of
yeah,
portrait. Okay, thanks. So
yeah.
yeah, no, this is great. So you can easily do this and just pick which one you want and it will resize it perfectly for you. Okay.
And
So
we did a training on Instagram carousels, reels, and stories
yep.
where this very similar thing,
Mhm.
on how to make the reels and stuff was shown.
Yep.
Um, that was fun too, actually.
Yeah, and we did some video. Remember the videos we did with the
Yeah,
ink in
with
them
the
and
ink. Yeah,
everything?
they were really cool.
It took us a bit to kind of process it, but once we did, like I think we could do even better now, but yeah.
Yeah. And I
So
think I think we had seen them somewhere. Was it on
on
TikTok or
TikTok.
something? Yeah. And I think we both sent a video of it almost like the same time or around the time. And I was like, oh my God, did you see that video I sent you with the ink? And you were like, oh my God, I was looking at that. And
Mhm.
they were just like, how can we do that?
Yeah.
Uh, because I thought they were very good. But yeah, like that's one of my favorites. What's your favorite there, do you think?
I really love because we've really gotten into tropes and everything. So there's two different
Yeah,
versions of the trope stuff. I'm going to
yeah.
move it, in fact, so that we can see it. Did you know that you can do this? You can reorder things just by dragging and dropping when you're in this version. So this is like two versions of the same thing. Okay. But look, and I wish they could do side by side. I don't know why.
With
Canva, if you're
yeah,
listening.
yeah. Mm,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah. If you
Is there a way?
no, I think there is if you make it smaller. Let me just go in and play while you're doing that for a minute.
Okay, go ahead. That'd be awesome. If you could figure it out, I'd love that. So anyway, this is one version of the whole, like these are the tropes. Now we just put 4 arrows. You can do more arrows, you can change the arrows, you can do whatever. But with of course the message is like ultimately read now. That's the goal, right? But so it's the whole, do you like these tropes? And then it's like age gap, forbidden, he fell first, found family, and you can just put put some tropes in there and work with that with the arrows. I think that's very popular. People love that. It's a great way to help
Yeah.
people get quickly interested in your story. Like, oh, I love a good age gap. Oh my goodness, found family. I love found family. So like things like that are really, great. And then
If
this is
you,
another
sorry,
version.
if you just click on that one there, that page, yeah,
This page, okay, yeah,
either one's fine. And just, you see the size where you resize it. If
down
you
here.
resize, yeah, so if you make it smaller, they won't ever go next to each other, but you'll be able to get the two on the screen.
Yep. Okay, I
You know
see
what
what you're saying. Yep,
And you
yep.
can still make it a little bit bigger, but that's the only way. The other, it doesn't give you an opportunity. Oh, actually, do you know it does? But you have to change the size of your screen. So, like, I have my screen smaller than you, but I can do it so that there's only ever two on a screen, so I can see
Okay,
it.
okay.
There is that option.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about the number of times, like when we're making coloring books and things like
Yeah,
that, wouldn't it be a lot easier if we could just
yeah,
see it side by side and we could like visualize it like that? That would be
yeah.
ideal.
Because yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Because otherwise, Christine and I do this thing where we're like, okay, odd is on the right, even's on the
Yeah.
left. And we're like, we're trying to like mentally prepare for this. But
Yes,
this is
right.
another version of the same thing. So the difference being, of course, that the cover would be much smaller, but then you can still have like the tropes around it. And honestly, with things like this, you could get like super, super fancy where you could literally put, um, like you could take this, copy it, and put a picture of each thing in it if you wanted to, where there was the picture of the Kindle and it was the look of a small town. There was a picture of a Kindle, the Kindle with, what like a version of Found Family or whatever on it. So all I'm saying is these are some really good options for helping people get interested visually, and quickly in what you have going on for your story. And I think, and that's, I mean, that is the goal. There's other things thrown in here, like yes, things that you can use to remind them when you're going to be in a signing, when if there is a book that is on sale, if oh my goodness, and when you're marketing, sharing testimonials and like reviews and things like that from people, the reviews
Yeah,
are great. This one, every time, like the whole 1 star idea, I love
yeah,
this. So, too much sex and why all the swears? So, like things like that, put your cover on it and then like drop it down so that it
yeah,
shows it's like 1 star or whatever the case may be, like only 1 star on this kind of thing. I think that this is a great way to take a bad review and
yeah.
turn it to your favor, kind of thing.
I
Um,
had a review on a book recently, actually. I only read it today. Somebody had told me about it. But it wasn't a 1 star, it was a 3 star. But they
mhm.
really enjoyed it and they can't wait to read more from me. But they didn't accept the fact that it was a short story.
Yeah, they'll nail you for stupid stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
I
they dropped
mean,
2 stars. I'm like, hello.
like girlfriend, it shows the page
Story?
count on the actual checkout page. How did you
Yeah,
miss that? You don't get
yeah.
to blame me because you wanted it to be longer.
And
Like,
they're all short in the whole series for everybody. Like it's just
goodness.
so weird. It's just so I find them funny. And I think I remember a few years ago actually. I don't know if you remember this, but there was the zombie books was a big thing, as in your books that were in the grave that were dead and buried.
Yeah.
And there was a few blogs that jumped on promoting the ones that were in the dungeon or in, that had died. Um and that kind of yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say there. You changed the picture, so I can't remember what it was I was talking about.
Oh, we were talking about, well, you were
Oh,
talking
the
about,
roof.
yeah.
Yes. So sorry. I think so it's a similar kind of thing to like that as well,
Hmm.
where there should be a thing about let's promote our 1 stars,
Hmm. I know.
because like, some of them are funny.
Hmm.
Um and that's anybody out there just marketing, there's an idea for you.
There, yeah. Um, so everybody, and this is good because books need conflict.
Yeah.
So, especially enemies to lovers, like you can put the conflict in there. Why are they enemies? Why do they hate each other? Images of, don't use stars. Please do not use like, movie stars to promote your book or famous
No.
models or whatever. Get like pictures of unknown, that kind of thing to do this. And then, like let people know why is this, what's with the conflict. Um, Share more about you. For example, um if you are writing a story about um uh, maybe there used to be this whale watching show it was like, but they were like saving the whales. They were like this, like
Mm,
these what do you call them? Like environmental activist
yeah,
type people, and they would go and they would like follow the whaling ships and save the whales and all this stuff, right?
yeah, like Greenpeace or something.
Yes, if you had done things like that and then you were writing this book about whales, like things like this could be relevant and they could be fun.
Yeah,
Like if you're kind of sharing why this is a great thing for you to do.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Are you ready for this? I don't know if you knew this. I found it out just recently. So, for example, you know who would be great at this? Abby Jimenez. Do you know Abby Jimenez, the author? She's a romance author, okay? Do you
Mm,
know who else she is? She is
no.
genius behind Nadia Cakes. Do you remember the geode cake?
Yes. Oh, yes, I do.
Yes.
Oh my
Okay.
God. Yeah.
She is a famous romance author who
Wow.
owns these cake shops.
That's
Okay. So
mad.
all
I
I'm
remember
saying
those days.
is if she's going to write a whole series about,
Yeah.
bakery romances and
We're
everything,
gonna read that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So these things are relevant. So like the more about
You
me
should
and
read
adding
one of
her,
her books for our book boyfriend Biz Talk.
yes, yes. I would love that so much. Okay. Now, so there's a lot of things that you can do with these. We tried to make some neutral. We tried to make them where there would be like people love your quotes from your books and everything. Put them on, make them pretty. Make them pretty, stick them out there. Same thing over here. Put your cover on here, put a quote from the book, like, use these to really sell your product, which is your book, okay? And have fun with it. Like the questions, if people are asking you a bunch of questions, we used to talk about like the two truths and a lie, two things
Yeah.
that are true from the book and one thing that is not, or kind of thing
Yeah.
that things that maybe you experienced or you lived through or,
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody wants to
Good
know what
idea.
inspired your stories, right? So this.
I think that's a really interesting one. Is you were showing the picture there up the top,
Uh-huh.
um, and I think that is a really good question to ask, or for people to who ask you, or for you to tell people where did the inspiration come from, and
Hmm.
what drove you to write the book the
Hmm.
way that you did. Because we all know that if we had an idea that your book would be completely different to mine, because that's
Oh
how we
yeah.
work.
Hmm.
But I think it's always very interesting to know why that story resonated with you and you wanted to write it.
I think that it would be a really cool thing sometime to get 4 or 5 writers together to have them come up with an idea for a story and then show how every single one of them writing that main idea for a story can turn it into some totally different book.
I did an anthology many years ago, and each of the books started with the same line.
Hmm.
So the ringing of the phone woke me, or whatever it was, and it was just everybody went in different directions, which was kind of cool.
Hmm.
Um, but that is a really good idea.
Wouldn't that be
I
fun?
also remember, and I don't know if you ever did any of these, but I did a live write. So it was in one of
Mm.
the groups, and I'd been picked to do this week against this gentleman, and we were given a picture, and the picture was of a dead eagle or something in the desert.
Hmm.
So we then had to write for half an hour, and of course, mine was all to do with the casinos in Vegas with the desert, and he was writing something else. But it was just so strange to see we were both typing, and then afterwards, because nobody can see you typing, it's there, and the difference for the two stories, he was like urban fantasy or something, and I was, steamy romance or whatever. It was really good fun. It was very pressurizing, but it was good fun.
Hmm.
Uh, but yes, I like that idea. Maybe we should do that.
I think we should. I think that'd be so fun. So, so there's a lot of things that you can do here, as far as ways that you can use these to promote your book. Even if you're not talking about the conflict, you can talk about, here's MC1 and MC2, and then, like put like a nice hook or a tagline or something like that here. Things like that are really, really cool to work with. And
You see a
definitely.
lot of those on TikTok, a lot of the text ones, but you're in that place there,
Mhm.
like I was the love of his life until I
Mhm.
wasn't. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
They're like hooks that bring you in and you're like, okay, I
Yeah,
want to know about this. So the
exactly.
one liners are really good for those.
Exactly. These would be great for, slide presentations. You just
Yeah,
resize them, and a lot of
yeah,
these would be really, really great for slide
yeah,
presentations. And I think that that would be, a fun thing to do too.
yeah,
So,
definitely. Love them.
use these, and really, be sure to personalize them, make them match your brand. You can change all the backgrounds, the fonts, like all the things can be changed to look more like something that comes from you. But yeah, and this should simplify your process as far as how do I promote while I'm still writing this book. So,
That's
all right,
important. Don't start promoting when it's released. You've got to start before and build up the energy for the book.
exactly. All right. So if you have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing these posts, and don't, tag us. Be sure to tag us. We'd love to see what you do with some of these templates. All right. Have
Okay.
a nice rest of the day.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.